YouTube. I'm streaming over there as well. I hope you're all really, really well. Welcome to my hotel room here in Lanzarote. Caught my mum, and it's my son's birthday today, Dylan. He's 9 years of age, and we're all heading out now to have a nice dinner to celebrate in about half an hour. So I'll keep this short and sweet today. And my mum and dad called. We were at a water park today. And my mum and dad called from their car with FaceTime to say hello to their little grandson. And they were all wrapped up in jackets and scarves, and the heaters on and the blowers on. And they were all wrapped up because they were going walking on the beach, and they said it was wild and miserable. And I said, yes. I definitely was gloating today, but it's nearly 4 years now since we went away on holiday. So it's well deserved. It's well deserved. I hope you're all keeping very, very well. Everybody in the academy, I hope you're great. Looking forward to hearing from our dear friend Imelda to see what she chose yesterday. For those of you who were live with me yesterday, I did the Magic Book Day 22 for everybody in the 7 Levels of Awareness Masterclass and for everybody on YouTube. And then I closed off those 2 calls and went to do a Q&A session with everybody who is a fully fledged member of the Academy. And in that, one lady, it was evident, just needs a little break, needs a little bit of self-care. And I asked her wonderful colleagues in the Academy to suggest some things she would do, and that she was going to pick them. And I said, I'd love to see what you've chosen. So if you're here with us watching live, please comment. And if you're watching the replay, please comment and let us know what you chose to do for a bit of self-care and a bit of love for yourself. Sheila Kelly and Lelda Tinta, nice name. And Anita Connolly, how are you? Well, Sheila and Anita, both you have nice names too. But it's a very interesting name there. Good to see you watching here on the 7 Levels of Awareness Masterclass. So for those of you, we've got like 188 new people that I welcomed this morning with a post. I did a nice selfie at breakfast time and posted a picture from last night's dinner here in Lanzarote, welcoming another 180 people to our masterclass, which has the grand number of 888 people registered now. Amazing. 888. I got married on the 8th of August 2008, the 888. So it's very special to see that's exactly how many people are registered for the masterclass as of this very second. Those of you who are registered for the masterclass, you're in our Facebook group. You registered for a reason, as Megan said today in one of her comments. She goes, you're here for a reason. You may not know what that reason is yet, but halfway through next week, you'll be like, oh my God, I can't even remember registering for this, but you're going to be so happy. We're going to be bringing you through the 7 levels of awareness. Certainly, I was in harmony. I was using the law of vibration and the law of attraction to get me to a place where I was really lucky in life. I had a gorgeous wife and 3 children, and they were healthy, but I was really unhappy. I was really not fulfilled in my life and frustrated. And I think it's so easy in that moment in time for people to, go on lots of medication and lots of different things and get very frustrated and maybe not be so nice to their body, maybe not be so nice to their diet. I was really on the cusp of a bit of a breakdown, I suppose. And with the grace of God, I found my way to personal development, especially the classical texts like Think and Grow Rich, As a Man Thinketh, and the amazing teacher called Bob Proctor. And I was in a very low level of vibration back then, which is the animalistic mass awareness. And now I'm proud to say I live at that top level, which is living with discipline, experience, and mastery, the top 3 levels. Whenever I feel like I'm down at those lower levels, I remember all I need is some discipline, and then I'll get an experience that'll prove to me that I'm back on track again. So you're going to be learning all different levels from morning till evening. Every single human being steps foot into each level of awareness. There's times where you look and you go, oh, even today, there was a guy walking by the pool, and I said to June, I was like, see, I'd like a body like his now. And she was like, or you could just have happiness. I was like, okay, I know. But the guy's in good shape. I was like, I'd like to look like that a bit, So what's that? That's mass awareness. That's kind of, individualism. It's like, who do I want to be? That was one level. Today, I felt very masterful around my emotions, around a couple of little difficult things, nothing too crazy, but felt masterful in seeing them and not getting emotionally involved with them. Good news, bad news. Oh my God, a massive opportunity. Oh my God, this could be a problem. Regardless what it is, I'm staying very level, which is very kind of masterful in a way. I got that through discipline and experience. You're going to learn all that next week in the masterclass. I probably pondered some time today, where am I being the best individual that I could be, or am I following everybody else? Individualism is one tiny little step away from mass awareness where everyone's doing everything else. So I was at breakfast actually, and I was thinking about next year, and thinking about the way I want to do things and how I want to do things, and people I want to work with and places I want to visit, and where do I want my business to go. So I'm moving from an individualism type of an idea to a kind of a drop down to, yeah, but how could I do that when everybody else does this? But you're being different, Declan. Yeah, but how can I? So you drop. So you see, you go from the lower level of animalistic type awareness, reacting to things, arguing, being pessimistic, um, being critical. I'm only joking, that kind of low level type drama filled life, to where you feel just so blissfully at peace up at the mastery level. We go through all of them every day. Most of us do. And then as you start going and studying, you find you live more on that mastery, experience, discipline, aspirational type mindset. Okay, a lot of the people in the academy will talk about that, and we're going to talk about something today which is really powerful. And what we're going to talk about today is the breath. So whether you're old or young, male or female, or all different in between, whether you are single or married, left-handed, right-handed, living in Mozambique or living in Mayo, your political persuasion, your sexual preference, everything, we're united as one when it comes to the breath. Everybody. Without it, we're gone. We can do 40 days without food on average. Not everybody, but some people can last 40 days or thereabouts, I think, without food. Without water, I think, is it 10 days or something like that? Is it 10 days or something we can last without water? But without air, we can't last, unless you're trained. We can't last more than a few minutes. I can prevent myself from inhaling. So I breathe for 30 seconds, I exhale, and I hold my breath. And I don't have to breathe in again for, it's about 1:45. I think I've gone well over 2 minutes and a bit, but I can't actually say. I think it's well over 2 minutes because I pause it sometimes. But you're in a kind of a trippy state that you don't know how long it's paused for. It feels like a short while. And then I said to June, how long was that 2 mornings ago? 1:45. It didn't feel like that. But the breath is amazing. It's so powerful. And we're going to talk about it a little bit today. And we're going to keep talking about The Magic Book by Rhonda Byrne, because today, day 23, she talks about the magic air we breathe. And we take it for granted, like gratitude. We say, thanks very much, as a phrase. But do we really say it to the person? Today, smallest little thing. Came into the restaurant and he goes, what's your room number, please? I said 122 and 124. And he said, okay. He goes, thank you very, very much. And I said, you know what? Thank you very, very much. And there was a moment between me and him, and we drew the plexiglass, underneath the plexiglass, and we did a fist bump. He gave me such a genuine gratitude to say thank you. And I said, do you know what? Thank you very much. It was lovely. And I thought about it. I said, I think I attracted this moment, because we say thanks, cheers, thank you, thank you. And it's nice. It's really important. As my granny always said, saying thank you costs nothing, but it goes a lot further than money. And that was a special thanks between me and this gentleman today. But the air that we breathe is just incredible. I said yesterday, when I exhale and I hold my breath for a couple of minutes, sometimes there's a buildup of carbon dioxide in the body, and you can go, hold your breath. Then after a while, you feel it build up and you can go. There's another couple of breaths in there. It's like you're exhaling stuff that's, I don't know, does the carbon dioxide end up back in the lungs and then you have to get rid of it? So it's weird. After you've breathed it out and hold your breath, there's still more stuff develops in you and you push it out again. Just like that, just like gratitude, you think you've got to the outer levels of gratitude, and there's more. In the same way, what you can learn from breathing, and I would definitely encourage everybody tonight, after we've done this call, at some point, especially before bed, lie on the floor of your bedroom, put a pillow down, put on a blanket over you, and just practice. If you go to YouTube, 11 minutes Wim Hof method. Just do it lying down. You might feel a little bit of tingling in your lips, a little bit of pins and needles in your fingertips. Don't worry. I mean, you can't faint and fall any further. You're lying on the ground anyway. But it doesn't happen to too many people that they actually pass out, because what you do is you go and you fill your body with oxygen, and oxygen is life-giving. And then when you breathe out and hold your breath, you're stopping the natural urge to breathe in again, but you don't need to. Your body actually doesn't need to breathe in again. So it's something that's nice to do. Wim Hof does it for 11 minutes on YouTube. Guides you through the whole thing. And that's how I started, to be honest, just 11-minute video. It was lovely. Do one, and if it feels good, fine. If it doesn't, move on. But what I would ask you to do here is, if you're up for that challenge tonight, I would really beg of you to come back into the group and type in what happened. So here's what I want you to do. I want you to attempt to do a press up. Do 1 or 2 press ups. See how many you can do, 4 or 5. And then do that 11-minute breathing, and then see how many you do. If you say to yourself, I'm going to do 40, you will just shock yourself. If you say, I'm going to do this breathing that Declan was on about, and I'm going to do 10. Let's say you do 5 and you're struggling, you'll do 20 when you're finished the breathing. It's just incredible what it does to the body so quickly. When I was in my acupuncture business, there was a lot of people that were very afraid of the needles. And they were often in grave pain because they had tried physio, they had tried chiropractic work, osteopathic practice, they had tried alcohol, I was going to say, they had tried drugs, medication. They tried lots of things, and usually the fellow with the needles is the last person they come to. So people often came in a very bad state, and I loved. I used to actually have writing on my windows that said, "Instant pain relief, or you don't pay," because I studied with the best in the world, a guy called Dr. Richard Tan. And he showed me how to really, I've been working on myself. I took a volley yesterday thinking I was Zinedine Zidane, and I'm forgetting that I'm 41-year-old Declan O'Donoghue who doesn't get to play soccer anymore. And I took a very high volley, and I felt a pop in my hip. So I'm actually limping around the resort at the moment. And the upper side of my left leg is my left hip. And my right shoulder then is a corresponding trigger point. So you can press here, and I'm walking around perfectly. So I'm walking around the resort with my fingers on my shoulder. I'm sure people are like, what's he up to? But I can walk clearly when I do that. And when I stop doing it, this gets sore again. So it's called the balance method, and it is going to work. But what I want you to do is, I've been using the breath work and using the meditation and stuff to heal my hip very quickly. It's coming around. It's only been 24 hours and it's already improving. But I want you to do it for yourself. I want you to try and do 4 or 5 press-ups tonight, see how you get on, and then do the 11 minutes lying on the floor with a pillow down, blanket over you. Do 11 minutes of the Wim Hof method. Get up and do press-ups. You'll shock yourself. You probably do 30 or 40 or 50 of them. It's I don't know how it works, but it's incredible. I want to actually show you something else about your breath, if you're willing to do it with me right now. I want you to hold, greetings from a very cold Midwest. Enjoy the sunshine, Mary Corrie. Hi, Mary. So I want you all to just hold your breath with me now. I obviously haven't been doing the breathing exercise. It's now 30 minutes into this call. I've obviously been talking. I haven't been doing the Wim Hof method at all, but I'm going to hold my breath with you now and see how long we last for. Okay, so 3, 2, 1. Okay, so that's about 30 seconds, but that's without doing the preparation. So that was me just randomly holding my breath. Now that's pretty good. I've obviously changed my body because I couldn't hold my breath for more than 10 or 15 seconds before, but now that was 30 seconds. So now what we're going to do is, like, if you feel a bit lightheaded doing this, don't do it at all. I mean, this is just me doing it. You can do it if you want to, but I'm going to show you the power of your breath. Okay, so I'm actually going to do 10 breaths, just 10. You're supposed to do 30. I'm going to do 10 breaths where I breathe in fully, fill up the whole of my lungs, and breathe out fully. Now, I always do this lying down. I haven't myself done it sitting up. So you could be in for a very entertaining evening where the host of the call passes out live in air. But let's see how we go. Just to be clear, Karen Kelligan, later on tonight, I'm saying when this call is finished, do a few press-ups first to see how you do. Then do the 11-minute Wim Hof method on YouTube. Just type it in, find one, 11 minutes, lie down on a floor, pillow under your head, blanket over you as well because your body can get cold. Follow the 11 minutes and then do your press-ups, and you'll probably do 50. It's amazing. So we're not going to do the press-ups now because it's going to be a very strange call. We're going to read the Magic Book by Rhonda Byrne, but I just wanted to bring you close to the power of your breath work. Remember, I told you when I was doing acupuncture, if people were nervous, I would get them to do breath work and it would always calm them down. Sometimes it was difficult to get the needle in, and I would get the person to breathe in. So they'd breathe in, I go breathe in, and they'd breathe in like this. And I'd say breathe out, and they'd breathe out, and it would go straight in. It's like the skin used to just almost open and let the needle in if they breathe it and I breathe at the same time. Before that, the needle would go, and then when they breathe in, it'd go, no problem. So we're going to learn how powerful our breath is and how powerful you are right now. So I did 30 seconds there without any practice. Now I'm going to do 10 deep breaths. Then I'm going to stop and hold my breath, and you're going to see. And you at home might also do this with me. Again, if you want to lie down so that you don't maybe get dizzy, see how you do. You don't have to do it, but I'm going to do it anyway just to show. I did 30 seconds last time. It'll probably be more. Anyone can change how they breathe, and it's fantastic for all of your body. So let's go. Okay, so I think I did nearly 40 seconds there. So I don't know what you guys did. I'm just going with the timer on the live video. So it was about 10. It was a 20-minute call. Sorry, it was a 19 minutes and 10 seconds that we started, and I stopped around 20 minutes. So I think it was about 50 seconds that time. So that's just an example. Doing 10 deep breaths. Now I didn't feel comfortable doing it. It's a hot country. I'm sitting upright. Normally I do my breathing lying flat on the ground. And I go for it then, but I was feeling a bit lightheaded, so I didn't go very, very deep. I didn't want to faint on the call, but that's just an example of how it can work. I'd love to hear your feedback later on tonight if you decide to do it. But today now, imagine Laura's here with us, and she found out that there's an ice bath in the spa, and the spa was booked from Saturday to Thursday, so we just didn't bother. We said we can do all that stuff at home, but here we'll just be in the pool. But she goes, oh, there's an ice bath. She found it. And I went, no way, brilliant. Like, imagine a week ago, I would have been like dreading the ice baths, but the breath helps you with so much. And I'm really grateful, and I'm really glad that Rhonda Byrne put breath work into the magic book on gratitude. It's very much become a kind of an in thing in the last few years, breath work and body work and different things. But to have this in her book, 15, 20 years ago is pretty cool. So let's get into this chapter, and we're going to have a quick look at the worksheets or whatever it is you guys have to do tonight. And then tomorrow is the magic wand. And I think you have Yelena bringing, or is it Megan taking us to tomorrow? And then Dusan is doing, oh, I think so. We'll confirm. Oh, no, I'm doing tomorrow. Yeah, I'm doing tomorrow at 1 for magic practice number 23. And then I think is Megan doing Thursday morning, and then Dusan's doing Friday or something like that. But anyway, we'll carry on. We shall carry on. The magical air that you breathe. So today, you're expected to count your blessings. And I'm sure now it's 5:30. I started this call. I'm sure many of you have done day 23 already. But anyway, we'll read through it for those who haven't. You count your blessings. You make a list of 10 blessings, and you write out why you're grateful for them. You reread your list. At the end of every blessing, say thank you, thank you, thank you, and feel as grateful deep down inside as you can. Then 5 times today, stop and think about the glorious air that you are breathing. I did it today. We went to a water park, so you go down the slides and they're very, very dark. And I remember going down, like going, woohoo! It's so happy. And I remember like breathing in, and honestly, I was going down the slide, sitting on one of these plastic tubes, just screaming out loud, like, thank you so much, God, for the life I live. Thank you. I was like all happy and breathing. I could really remember it. And then I said to Dylan, he was on a double ring with me, and I was like, hold your breath, we're going to hit the water. Like, we both held our breath and then we got splashed into the water. So this was one of my 5 times today that I held my breath. We were playing water polo with a gang, a bunch of people we never met before, but there's a very good kids club and they get all the adults in. So we all had a great time laughing, and I was watching people like breathing and holding their breath and diving under to swim to get the ball and getting up and going, So 5 times today, stop and think about the glorious air that you breathe and take 5 deliberate breaths and feel the feeling of air moving inside your body. When Layla, Dylan and Joni were small and they'd fall and hurt themselves, the first thing I would do is get them to get up, make sure they're okay, and then they'd be like, and I'd say, no, hang on, breathe, honey, breathe. I put my hand in their chest and say, breathe, and they go, and they've all learned that. And what I notice is we have very, I don't know what the opposite of melodramatic is, but we have very minus dramatic children. They bang themselves like, I'm fine. Dylan played 5-a-side football with 10 adults yesterday. He was plaguing the junior club. Can I please play? Can I please play? So I was on a team of 5 guys. Dylan was on a team of 4 guys and a 9-year-old boy, and that was him. And he scored 4. I scored 2, and the scores were 8-5. So he scored 4 goals. He scored half his team's score. They were telling me, I met loads of the dads last night at the buffet. They were like, Dylan's a good player. I was like, I'm telling you, he was brilliant. And at one time, then I actually took a shot, and he got in the way of it, and it hit him. And he was running around the pitch, and I could see there was tears welling up in his lower eyelids. But it's not like, oh, I've raised them to be tough. But I've raised them to, if they fall or hurt themselves, just breathe. Just get your breath, because a lot of us, we panic and we hold our breath. And I've learned, I didn't even know why it was a good thing to do, but I just suggested it when they were small, and they've all developed. They fall off the bike or they cut themselves. I actually heard in the apartment next door, Layla, I think she scalded herself with the shower. And the first thing they do is they breathe through it. So I learned why that's necessary last week when I did that 3-day retreat with the Wim Hof method. There's 5 breaths you do, and if you can think your hand is by your face and you want to blow it about as far away as you can put your hand, that's it. Just imagine. It's called vagus breathing. So there's a vagus nerve that goes right up the back of your head, and it's where we really panic and fight or flight, and it calms us down when we're stressed, when we're angry, when we're tightened up and ready for fight. Those 5 breaths can calm you down. So Rhonda Byrne says, pick 5 times today and breathe. And if you breathe 5 times a day, take 5 deliberate breaths. After you've taken the breaths, say the magic words. Thank you for the magical air that I breathe. Be as grateful as you can for the precious life-giving air that you breathe. And then before you go to sleep tonight, get your magic rock. And when you get your magic rock, hold it and think about all the thing you were most grateful for today. So for me, the thing I would be most grateful for, and it's early days, I know there's going to be a surprise cake and candles later on and stuff like that. But for me, so far, I've had lots of really good things to be grateful for today. Reading some wins in the chat. I was telling my wife and Laura about Maria's wonderful win, and I showed her the picture of all the packages herself and her family put together for posting out like 140 sales a day or something like that. It was great, and just a lot of little messages and different things I was grateful for. Grateful for people helping me when I'm away. An accountant lady called Ansu was helping me, and another guy called Adam was helping me. And it's just these little emails while you're by the pool. I stopped and looked up at the clouds, and I was like, thank you so much for everybody who contributes to help me in my life. There was people bringing us food. We were in bed this morning. Probably there was people chopping onions for our dinner, and it's like, I'm so grateful. The growers that grew them. You see, the gratitude never stops. So the Magical Air You Breathe chapter is lovely. Definitely read the whole thing. She says it's quite possible, there's a quote here by Mary Ellen Chase, it's quite possible to leave your home for a walk in the early morning air and return a different person, beguiled and enchanted. If someone had told me a few years back I'd be grateful for the air that I breathe, I would have thought that person was crazy. I wouldn't have made much of sense to me. Why on earth would anyone be grateful for the air that they breathe? But as my life changed from using gratitude, the things that I took for granted or didn't give a second thought about became an absolute miracle to me. I went from sweating the small stuff in my little world to a day-to-day life, to opening my eyes and thinking about the bigger picture and the wonder of the universe. As the great scientist Newton said, when I look at the solar system, I see the Earth and the right distance from the sun to receive the proper amounts of heat and light. This did not happen by chance. There was some other scientist, Nobel Prize winning scientist, I can't remember who his name is, but he said the more he studied science, the more he became absolutely convinced of the existence of a living God. That's what he said. I thought that was really cool, because the world kind of pitches science and theology against one another. But this guy said, the more I studied science and all of its magnificence, the more I could be damn sure there was a God. I love the people who say God was a mathematician, because we didn't discover maths, we found it. It's in nature, it's in cycles, it's in gestation period of plants and animals and all that stuff. It's fascinating. But I love what she says here, what Newton said. When I look at the solar system, I see the Earth and the right distance from the sun to receive the proper amounts of heat and light. This didn't happen by chance. That's pretty cool. Those words made me think more about the bigger picture, and not by accident, that there is a protective atmosphere surrounding us, and that beyond us there is no air or oxygen, so that our atmosphere is continually replenished. It's not an accident that our solar system is perfectly placed, and if it were anywhere else in the galaxy, it would most likely be devastated by a cosmic radiation. There are thousands of parameters and ratios that support life on Earth. All of them are on a knife edge, and their fine-tuning is so critical that a fraction of a difference in any of these parameters and ratios would make life unlivable on planet Earth. It is difficult to believe that any of these things could have happened by accident. It would seem that they are perfectly designed, perfectly placed, and perfectly balanced for us. I want you to read all that. I'm not going to read all of it today, but I've read your homework for the night, and we've talked a little bit about the power of breath, what it can do for calming you down. I know we have a lot of therapists here tuning in and putting in certain comments as well about it. And I want you to do the press up challenge just for the crack later on, and let us know how you did. But what was I going to say there very quickly? Oh yes. Today I was in the pool, as I said, and it was cold and it was gotten dark, but the handrails you hold to leave the pool were still really hot. The chrome, the metal handles you need when you're climbing up the ladder or walking up the steps from the pool, they were hot. So like the metal attracted the heat, or the silver color of the metal attracted the heat, and it stored up the heat within its molecules, and it was still holding the heat, even though the water was cold, the land was cold, the tiles were cold, we were cold, we had goose pimples and stuff like that, because it gets a little bit chilly in the evening in Lanzarote. But the metal held its heat. And I was thinking about that, how she says that it's on a knife edge. Like, people talk about air quality. Our dear friend Kevin Troy, he's in the academy. He's a graduate of the academy, and he's always chiming in and following us, and himself and his wonderful wife Liz and Carleen are dear friends of ours. And Kevin came to do a cycle with me, and I'd been cycling for ages, and Kevin kind of just cycles to get to work in London, what he did at the time. So in cycling, like properly cycling with the gear and the glasses and the clip-ons and the whole lot. And I couldn't keep up to the guy. And he was convinced that his body was being more energized by the freshness of the air in Southwest Kerry. He was flying around the place. I mean, absolutely. It was like he was on constant Red Bull. And he was like, I don't know what it is, mate, but I think he says, my lungs are tingling on the inside. He goes, like, this oxygen is phenomenal. So we can't take it for granted, especially, I don't know where you live yourself, but I do notice a downturn in air quality. Like, we were in the airport, and June and the kids and myself were standing on the runway waiting for Ryanair to take us, and you could see the kids were like really bothered by the fumes. Like, we have wonderful fresh air in Valentia Island, so we take it for granted, but that fresh air isn't coming from nowhere. It's being generated. I know that it comes from like the temperature of the earth. They're talking about like kelp is responsible for earth and oxygen, and all of that green stuff under the ground, under the sea, is also responsible for the whole photosynthesis is happening, not just in the trees or in the plants, it's everywhere. So our oxygen is being produced so much, and we can take it for granted. But when we start to say thank you, thank you, thank you for every breath we take, it's a real deep gratitude. You're not going to get by too far if you lose oxygen. If you're out of oxygen, you're in trouble pretty fast. If you're suffocated, or like, even I saw a little boy the other day putting a blanket over his baby sister's face, and instantly everyone was like, "Oh, stop, take it off." We just know that's not good. That could be a troublesome situation. When I was a child, my brother Kevin was, I was going to say he was older than me. He's still older than me. No, but he was bigger than me, and he used to grab me around the head and do a headlock. He could hit me or kick me or pinch me or punch me. I wouldn't have minded, but I hated headlocks. I just felt so claustrophobic, especially if he lie down on top of me. Then I just hated that, and I know now why. It was restricting the flow of oxygen. He's covering up with his body. He's got his arm around your neck, and you just can't get away. All you want to do in that moment is breathe. And there was a very rough kind of a personal development story about a young man, very ambitious young man, went to a local millionaire because he heard they'll respect that. If an A-type character will respect it if you come up to him and you say, I want to be just like you one day, and I want you to tell me how I'm going to do it. He had the guts to do it. And he said, you really want to be as rich and successful as me someday? He said, that's all I want. And he goes, okay, tomorrow meet me on the beach and meet me by the water. So I went down and met him by the water, and he goes, oh, before you come, he says, make sure and dress in a business suit. So he was like, what? And he goes, a business suit? He's like, yeah. So he dressed in a business suit, and they met on the water's edge. And he said, follow me. And they walked out into the water. They walked out to up to their waists. They walked up to their chest, and then just up to their neck. And then the millionaire grabbed the guy by the head and dunked him under the water and kept him under there. And he kept him under the water almost far too long. The guy was struggling and hitting and everything. And then he brought him up, and the guy went, are you crazy? And he said, just answer me one question. He goes, yeah. He goes, when you were under that water, what did you want to do more than anything? And he goes, breathe. And he goes, when you want your success as much as you wanted to breathe right there, he says, then I'll help you. And it's a very powerful but a very tough story, because people are always like, I tried and it didn't work. When you want something as bad as that boy needed to breathe, nothing can stand in your way. You're committed. You've made a decision. And we're going to talk about that in the masterclass next week, the power of a decision and the power of being committed to something, really committed, not just dabbling. I mean, really flipping committed. Don't take for granted the air that you breathe. It is something, it's so easy for you to be so grateful for, because as I said, whether you're male or female, old or young, gay or straight, left-handed, right-handed, Fianna Fáil, Fine Gael, hurling or football, Blur or Oasis, it doesn't matter what we're divided by, we're all connected through breathing and the power of breath. And even at the end of the retreat last week, they encouraged us to even connect somehow and breathe together sometimes. I thought it was a pretty cool recommendation to make. So